Yes,
Hello,
sir.
hello, everybody. Are we ready for some Light Seekers action today? It is Wednesday, and I have quite a show for you. If you haven't noticed, we're talking about the DC Illinois Silver Tournament that happened this past Saturday. I was in it. I was actually able to participate. It was an awesome time. We have today the top two winners, or the first and second place winners of that champion. Today we have Mudturtle himself and the Umbron House leader, Testament. Guys, say hello. Say hello to chat.
Hey,
What's
what's
up,
going
guys?
on, everybody?
So today we're highlighting their two deck lists. We have an awesome Howlock the Founder deck list that Mudturtle ran all the way to first place, and then we also have a Blaze Brute Zoc deck list that the Testament, the one and only Umbron House man, piloted to second place. Now I've actually got to face both of these guys at the tournament, and both of them put up an amazing fight. Took me to the limit, had some awesome games, great highlights as well. So I mean, we're here to talk Lightseekers, talk about that tournament in general, and just get some feedback from you guys. Is there anything you guys want to say before we just jump right into the deck list? Is there talk about the tournament? Give yourself some game experiences of what you found at the tournament itself, for playing physical as opposed to like maybe testing digital that you guys found. Mudturtle.
Yeah, this is the first time that I ever used this deck in physical play, so I wasn't quite sure how it would go. I played it a lot online and in online tournaments, but this is the first classic build I really did, and did pretty well.
Nice, nice. Did you find it a little different, obviously going from physical or digital to physical? That there was a slight change that you had to make with the deck, obviously because of the erratas and everything, or was this deck pretty avoid of any of the changes physically to digitally?
Well, pretty much the biggest hit was the Colossi Ritual Site having to wait an extra turn,
Sure.
so I took that out of the on online play.
Okay, that makes sense. Is that I'm assuming that's probably one of the only ones as we look through here. I think that's one of the only cards that was actually changed, other than Geode Hatchling obviously has burn, but that's all around. Everything else looks like it was pretty well avoided. Nice. Okay. Testament, is there anything from playing this deck? I know this is a different deck. This is something that you played new because you're more of the Carnage mill player that we saw in the previous video at your last tournament. Coming to this, your second tournament, placing second. Congratulations, by the way, in that. It's a big accomplishment from your last one. Is there anything that you want to talk about this deck, just how you played it at the tournament, how it was a completely different deck that you came in with this, and any differences you saw from the first one to the second one that you want to talk about real quick?
You mean from switching from like Carnage to this?
Yeah, I mean, there's two completely different decks. Did you have a lot of time to test this one? Obviously, digitally to fix. So yeah, just
So honestly, like Nuwan actually had like a little like recipe for me on how to practice alone because I don't have like a group of physical players around me.
sure.
And trying to remember like when certain cards would trigger getting that extra action and being able to get their full value and effects off in physical play was really tough because I don't have that freaking the red little aura around my card to let me know that it's gonna actually go through. So that was a little challenging practicing that alone.
No, yeah.
And then just practicing digitally too. I mean, that I did that a bit, like maybe the week of.
Okay.
But I wish I actually had a little more time with it because I realized I get to my second tournament, so like I realized that there are certain things like just playing physically. I feel like that are a bit different from playing digitally. Like obviously, like the General Carnage Mill deck, I thought would have done great physically, but then I had. Like I completely like had no clue about the time rules, and when that came into play, I'm like, man, I'm doomed to lose with this deck now because it deals no damage. There's no way I can make a life change if I'm at 35,
Sure.
and the other person just has to do anything, and then I'm like screwed. So playing this, it was like a very huge freaking relief to actually be able to start winning some games, man. And like the adrenaline rush during my first match was like through the roof. I had like the jitters.
Oh man, I could definitely see that. I mean, I've been to a few tournaments. Yeah, the second one when you finally, like I said, being able to deal damage and start winning these games, you're like, oh, I'm feeling hyped. I'm getting that amped pressure. That's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
So awesome.
And playing against Mudturtle, it was really funny too because against Mudturtle, he just sat back on that Colossi Skybeam or whatever, and I just kept eating it, and I was so reserved about using the Pathfinder, and I'm like, do I just remove this and use it on this? And then he whips out something crazy. But that's like what he did was just sit on it. And it didn't even look like he was trying. Like he just destroyed me. It was so passive.
And no, I think that's actually what's really awesome about Mudturtle's deck. We'll go back to that on the screenshot. Is that there's not a whole lot of buffs in here, but just the fact that Howlock's ability gets the Colossi Skybeam out on the first turn it's
Yeah,
I think you said it's a very subtle but impactful play. It's
it really is. Yeah, it's very deceptive because I kept thinking like he's gonna whip out something that I'll really need to remove later, and then come to find out that's the only thing he had in there right
yeah.
from the start, like for that.
Yeah, I think I got like 20 damage in one game off you from it.
Oh man, that's
Yeah, it was
nuts.
ridiculous.
20 damage off of
And
one
then
Skybeam. That's value.
And one thing that I remember too when we were playing, I was just like, he got me down to like one health. Oh, you were there, yeah, yeah. He got me down to one health, and I freaking hit. He popped Crystal Core, and somehow I managed to get Tantosian Blacksmith and get Crystal Core back, and then he just leaned in and was like, "Do you feel safe?" I
No, I was there. Oh.
was just like, "Oh man!" Like, and I just ate it and lost.
I think Mudturtle, actually, I do remember that lethal. If you want to go ahead and explain how you actually pulled off lethal in that game, we all got a good laugh out of that. That was pretty hilarious.
So dirty.
Yeah, I was holding a flame bat and a mudslinger in my hand, and I used the flame bat to pop the core, and then I used the mudslinger to kill him.
What a dirty play! Oh my gosh!
Like, he could easily Mudslinger to get rid of the core in general, but he's like, no, 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 I'm going to have Mudslinger lethal. And we all got a good crack out of that. We're just like, wow,
Man, I was like, wow.
that is awesome. Yeah, so I mean, you guys did amazing at the physical tournament. Obviously, placing first and second, had some amazing games, and we'll get into those a little bit. But right now, let's delve right into the decks. Mudturtle, obviously, you've been playing this one for as long as I can almost remember. You had me take a look at this deck during the first construction of it. You took it to a lot of the online delivery crab tournaments, and you finally brought it to physical with the classic mode. Just kind of give us a rundown of the big plays that you see that this deck really has. I know we obviously discussed Howlock searching for a Colossi Skybeam right at the beginning is probably the number one play that this deck is built around. But after that, like, what are your next few turns leading up to after the Skybeam comes down? What do you do usually? Second, third turn. How do you ramp up the damage in this deck?
Yeah, the Colossi Skybeam is always my first turn, then draw. Then I just leave it out there and just keep drawing, building up my hand till the opponent gets at 20 or below. And then by then I have enough attack cards in there, and I just basically go aggro from there. And the goal too is to get a Mountain Breaker out there. That way, that hits right when the Colossi Skybeam brings the opponent below 20.
Yeah, and I mean, the way you, like you said, you draw cards, you build up your hand, it's really easy to line that up on the fourth corner, because it's like, okay, if they heal, they're going to heal like at a certain point, but then Skybeam still activates and brings them right back down to 20. So that's a really cool play. Obviously, you said, so the Skybeam brings down to 20, and then you have all these attack cards because you've been drawing, just kind of letting the Skybeam do its thing, and then you go full aggro. You let the Mountain Breaker sit there. It can't be removed, which is just really nice. Then you have Flame Bat, Flame Chained Warrior, you have Magma Spitters, and then the Lava Tamers to search for them. You do seem like a very just like few turns, wait until the mid game, just kind of let your Skybeam do your own thing, and then you blow them up with Elemental cards. That seems like a really cool strategy.
Yep, and that seems like a really cool strategy. Yeah, the Lava Tamer is also key in there because it doesn't have fire superiority, so you need to have extra damage from like crystal and earth and stuff. And that also allows you to search for a card that you might need, like my Flame Chain Warrior. That is a key card too.
Yeah, Flame Chain Warrior, obviously a very good tech card. 4 damage, solid card on that side, but able to just rotate out some buffs that might be like either clunky corner or you're trying to avoid them setting up a really strong turn. I can definitely see that. So now let's kind of, obviously, the attack cards all seem plain and simple. You have Boulder Feast for healing, Colossi Colossi Ritual Site for just that burst damage. Let's go into your tech cards. You have one Mudslinger, one Portable Turret, one Geode Hatchling. I know the sideboard is kind of scrapped in here, but like your tech cards, what were the choices for your tech cards going into here that like you put them in here over certain other cards? Were they really helpful with the several playtesting that you did to kind of help you rebuild this deck to the point where you felt comfortable in a lot of very well-rounded matchups?
Yeah, the Hatchling is out there in case my opponent removes my Skybeam. Then I could just Hatchling it back in. Hopefully I have that card to get it back in. Or for the Colossi Ritual Site too. Like, I try to play that one like when my opponent gets close to 20, and then hopefully that one goes off. The Portable turret is there just for an extra 2 damage, basically, if the opponent gets close to bringing me below my health.
Yeah, and I mean,
and Mudslinger is there because I know that in the physical meta now, there's a lot of items that get ran, so
Mm-hmm.
that helps take out the core.
Oh, definitely. I mean, you're even running an item that you don't even use superior. You just use it for the 2 poke damage, which is it's great because it's like you have the Skybeam for early game and then the turret for late game as just perpetual damage. So there's never really a way to block you from just continuously doing damage in this deck, and it feels really smoothly run. Yeah, I love this deck, man. I think it's come a long way since the first iteration that I've seen on it. There's not a whole lot of buffs that you really need to worry about being removed because Mountain Breaker can't be removed. And outside of the Ritual Sight and the Skybeam, the only other buff that you have in here is Mountain Fort, and that's a clunky corner buff, so it stays out there unless they deal the damage or remove it. And this is just a really like solidly well built deck. Did you have any bad matchups in the tournament where like you were struggling to beat some people? Or I know you went 3-1 in Swiss. Was that one matchup kind of a bad matchup that you weren't anticipating in this tournament?
Yeah, if the opponent has like a heavy healing deck or stall, there's really not enough damage in this deck to overcome that. So I went to time on 2 matches, that one, and then there was a Dread stall deck in there, like a stall mill deck.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did see that one there. Was that? I'm assuming that's the one you lost to. Is the Dread stall?
No, actually, I lost to Tyro's chef deck, the one that had all that healing. It was basically an OTK deck.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I was actually really curious about how that deck like worked because every time I see it, it went to time and it didn't really get to do its whole full thing. But so yeah, obviously, the kind of weaknesses are it is perpetual damage. It is really like aggro mid range, but there is a limited amount of damage this deck can do unless they bring you down to below 15. Then the turret is almost infinite value for you because the Skybeam shuts off at 20. So after 20, you really got to have the efficient damage to kill him. So I could see how that would kind of be the one detriment is if they're being like a very defensive healing deck. There's a limited amount of damage in here that a lot of times you can't just do. So the combos, I mean, when I played you, I think I saw almost all the combos. I don't think you played Molten Fists on me, did you?
I don't remember. Probably not, though.
Okay. Now, just going from your mountain combos, Crushing Blow, Stream of Tantos, very common these days. Those are almost the auto includes in any mountain deck. Obviously, Crushing Blow is for removing any items that are out there, even superior ones. And Stream of Tantos is just a really good 7 healing, 6 damage, 1 of each. Inferno, Molten Fist, Rupture, what were your thoughts going in to add those in as opposed to some other mountain combos that we've seen in the past?
Well, Rupture is there pretty much for card draw because I think with it I can draw like 4 cards.
Okay.
So I don't really do it for the making the opponent's buffs dormant. Molten Fist just for damage against aggro decks.
Sure.
Flush out more buffs too. And the Inferno is kind of the one that I try to use to kill my opponent with.
Yeah, and I think you've had quite a few lethals in that one with Inferno. I know I definitely fell to it as well. But this is awesome, man. I mean, this is a really well, like I said, functioning deck. Molten Fist actually pays for Inferno, which really helps because, I mean, you don't have fire superiority, but all your fire cards you actually want to lay, right? You want to be able to use them to just deal the damage to kill them and then have a combo pay for a combo to finish them off when your hand size is pretty small. So that's awesome.
Yeah, the thing that's awesome. The thing is, too, since I can't play 2 fire cards in one turn, I can't get that above 9 damage. So I use the Flame Bats usually to pay for my Inferno.
Sure.
Then I can always get them back with a Lava Tamer.
Yeah, that makes complete sense to me. And then, yeah, like Lava Tamer searches for almost all of your direct attack cards other than Crystal Bat, and that's just Lava Tamer is just really good. It's finding its really nice home in a lot of mountain decks these days, I think. So, I mean, congratulations. Is there anything else you wanted to say about the tournament before we move on to Testament's deck? Like some really good matchups that you had, some really funky wins, or I know you discussed the weaknesses, the big healing decks, but were there any matchups that you like felt almost down to the wire where like it was down to 1 win and you had to pull off a certain victory that you want to talk about at the tournament with this deck?
I mean, pretty much all of them. The only ones I weren't really worried about was the Astral deck that I played. Not Testaments, but there was another Astral deck.
Okay.
Other than that, they were all real close games. I was sweating almost all of them out. Like I said, 2 of them went to time.
Yeah.
Two or three, I think, went to time. Oh, so yeah, it was tough competition. Everyone there was tough. Yeah, it was fun.
That's awesome to hear, and I highly encourage anyone, if it's a bronze, silver, or gold event, anyone trying to go play physical, because it is a whole new ball game, and it is definitely a different scene when you actually get to stare your opponent in the face and try and anticipate, like, oh god, do they have lethal, as opposed to sitting on your phone or your computer playing this game. So I highly recommend going out to it. It's awesome. It's awesome, man. Mudturtle, let's jump to you real quick. So Blaze Brutzak, you did say that your breakfast buddy, your breakfast bro boy, Dart Catcher, breakfast boy, he had a list for you to go with, kind of a deck recipe, and it does look very reminiscent of his first gold tier win with his Blaze Brutzak deck. I do see a few changes in here, but let's just I guess go through this. Talk about some of the big plays that you think this deck has. Some of the really cool synergistic plays that you were able to find while playtesting and playing this deck at the physical tournament. Were there any games where you were really down to the wire, like, oh god, I need to win next turn, or was there
oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, just give me a quick run through.
So it was really difficult playing against Exile. There was someone who was piloting Exile. His name was Pyronite.
Yes.
And he was playing Exile. And like the first time that I played him, I lost both matches. Just straight out. It was just like very difficult to keep up with the healing and also the little chip damage that he was doing over time. And because I run the Pathfinders, it's really difficult to get the full value because typically what I'm playing after I play a Lunar card is something else. Like if I play a Lunar Shrieker and I'm trying to get back my salvagers, like I'm going to play another Lunar Shrieker.
Sure.
And it's like I have to have these cards in my hand, to actually pull off Pathfinder in order to get the full value to remove his stuff. But he had like Recurrence, and then also just being able to heal himself a ton. He had Ritual. What's it called? That Ritual of the Dead or something like that, where you just are immune to. You can't die for like 4 turns.
Yeah.
He had that. And he also had that, what's it called? That combo buff, that combo defend card that brings all of your dead cards back from the grave, like 4 of them back from the discard pile.
It's like Rise from the Dead or something like that. It brings 4
yeah.
back.
Yeah. He had that as well. And he ended up knocking me out with that too. So like I was still learning how to adapt to playing against certain styles of decks in physical play.
Sure.
And I've never tested this deck against Dread. Like I've tested it against everything else, but I never realized it. Like I never actually really tested against Dread besides the Magrock matchup, which is like, that's what I was most worried about the most. That's why I have like the Starforged Warriors in there. The freaking Battleborn Oppressors were in the side deck as well.
Yep.
And like going back and looking at it, I'm like, man, I should have probably only put 1 of those cards in there instead of having 3 slots dedicated to that. But that was like every single time I played Magrock, that thing like screwed me up. Like the I was playing Sir Frankster, and he like loves Magrock.
Oh yeah,
and
it's like his go-to deck.
Yeah, and just playing against him, I'm just like, dang, like what the flip am I doing? Like what's going on? Like I can't make that end yet. And especially with Crystal Core, and then just being able to reheal himself from 12, like getting up to 12 again, it was just really like difficult. So I sided a lot for that. But anyways, to answer your question, sorry.
No, that's completely fine.
With the plays, the play for me that I look for in the very beginning of the match is seeing if it would benefit me to Fluximo in the beginning. And it's really difficult depending on what deck I'm playing against. When I played against Exile the second time, I wasn't worried about using Fluximo in the beginning because most of his stuff is buffs.
Sure.
And then the only action card that he was going to get back right away in the first turn would be Assassin's Guild, which gives him additional actions, which I wasn't too worried about that.
Yeah.
So the play would be, if I start with 4 cards in my hand, normally I would have like an Umbran Barkeep.
Okay.
I'll play that and hopefully draw into a Tantosian Blacksmith, or vice versa, have the Blacksmith right away. And then I'll get Fluximo out and then Fluximo Blacksmith back. And that really helped to just start, like, ignite my tempo with being able to get all of the utility, the tools, everything that I needed to start getting the full value from Salvager, getting all the utility I need to pace the match, whether it be using Duskblade Tomb or, the Leeching Scimitar.
Yeah, no,
so
for
just
sure.
that play, always getting the Fluximo out with the Tantosian Blacksmith really helps right off the bat, just to get all my weapons out fast. And then from there on out, it's mainly just feeling out the match and trying to get the salvagers into my hand as quick as I can. And a couple cards that I really feel like kind of, I don't know, like I'd probably put in the side deck instead. I never really saw much value from them were Starforge Warrior and the Skyward Observatory. Like those cards almost never saw play. And my second time around playing Exile, when I beat him during our last match, we had one more match, and I ended up swapping out that Skyward Observatory. As much as I wanted to use it, I just ended up swapping it out for like a sneaky or whatever, and that really made a huge difference because you don't want to slow the pace down of the match.
No, I can definitely see that. I mean, this deck, like you said, the Umbron Salvagers are probably your main source of damage. They're 8 for an action card, which is insane. And if with your flexible, you can keep getting that back from your graveyard. So it kind of laying an Observatory for increased damage almost puts you at like a 2-turn slowness because you're waiting for that buff to rotate to get more damage when you really just want to keep active on every turn.
Right, yeah. So one thing that I did change out of here was the Leeching Scimitar. And he had Nuwan's original build, I believe, had Crazed Bombers, and it also had Nitro Hammer.
Yes, I do.
And yeah, so I ended up removing the Crazed Bombers just because I didn't want to be in a situation where if I ended up using Fluximo, I'd end up putting a burn card in my discard pile and then kind of getting screwed in that sense.
Sure, that makes sense.
Even though the value's pretty good. And then also, I really like Leeching Scimitar for dealing with that clunky mountain buff.
Mountain Fort?
Yes, Mountain Fort, yeah. That was like something that I kept playtesting against with Nitro Hammer, and I kept screwing myself over because I don't want to waste a Salvager just to, get it reduced by 3.
Yeah.
And then I would be dealing damage to myself as well. So by the time I removed it with Nitro Hammer, I dealt 4 damage to myself. And so that's why I ended up going with Leeching Scimitar. And Leeching Scimitar actually really helped a lot because I remember there was one match where I was down to 1 health. And it was literally because of the fact that I had just happened to squeeze in a couple, me using Leeching Scimitar a couple times. So, yeah, that actually really helped a lot. I really like that because it helps me to just, get a better pace with dealing with decks that deal damage slowly over time. Like with dealing with the Exile, and they were using Abyss Shades, dealing that 1 damage, and then, whatever, like just having Leeching Scimitar helped me to still deal damage to them as well, and also keep myself back up, recover that 1 damage. Even though it's small, over time, it really does make a huge difference.
Oh, yeah, no, that's actually a great tech choice, and that's a great explanation, too, when you're going against Dread, and obviously Magrock has become one of those more prominent decks that almost everyone thought was going to show up, and it's actually kind of weird that we didn't see a single Magrock at this tournament because of how prominent it has become.
Yeah, dude, that was crazy. I was happy, but at the same time, I'm like, man, half of my freaking side deck is all like cards set up for the Magrock matchup, and now half my side deck is useless.
Right. So you come prepped for like your hard matchup that you've been testing, and it doesn't even show up, and you're like, well, that was whatever. So yeah, putting in the Leeching Scimitar to kind of heal you as opposed to, because as you said before, you use Leeching Scimitar mostly for just to get rid of like Mountain Forts or just kind of those tick damage. You don't need it for that impactful 3 damage and the 1 damage yourself. You just needed a little bit of damage to help tick those corners. So it's a really cool tech choice that you switched out those items and then took out the Crazed Bomber because you didn't want burn for Fluximo. I think that's awesome. That's just really good deck building and game development. And I mean, coming off your second tournament, having stuff like that and be able to talk to your team, the Breakfast Boys, Syrup or Crystal Gang, be able to get that inside information it's really cool and awesome that you're able to discuss that with your friends and kind of help you refine your deck in a way that it feels more comfortable for you to play as opposed to just taking a list right from your teammate and saying, hey, this one worked for me, make it work. And it's like, it doesn't really fit my play style. So that's awesome. That's awesome, man.
So like when Nuwan gave me the list or whatever, because I was originally trying to make what's his name, Overseer Tuskridge work, dude. I was using him for the longest time, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy's crazy. And I even played you a couple times.
Yep, I ran into you on casual, dude. Your deck is awesome.
And then, yeah, dude. But then come to find out, the effects that I was triggering were glitches. They weren't actually real effects that were supposed to trigger with Tuskridge, and that completely like crushed my spirits with that deck. And so like there's an effect there's a card. It's called Disturbed Elemental, and it says when you remove a buff, increase this damage by 3. So it's like deal 3 damage. If you remove a buff, increase this by 3. So when I would play that time card that will return your buff to your hand, it triggered my Disturbed Elemental. And I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, this deck's gonna be freaking monstrous. And then come to find out, like I ended up asking Benny, and he's like, no, that's not right. And that's not how the card's supposed to play. And it crushed me, dude. I was like, now I can't make that work. So I asked Nuwan for his. And Nuwan is like such an aggressive player. Like he plays, just a lot of aggro decks.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, he just comes up with the most destructive stuff. And for me, it's hard. Like if you saw my first deck was Mill, like I really like to make sure that I have a fighting chance instead of playing stuff that's like super advantageous but still might set me back. Like I just wanted to pace it a little differently with Leeching Scimitar. And so that really helped a bit. And I told Nuwan, I'm like, man, this deck feels like a tank of nitrous oxide just getting ready to freaking go off, man. Like, especially once you get everything locked and loaded and you get those salvagers and the what's it called? What's those cards called? The Lunar.
Oh, the Lunar Shriekers?
Yeah, Lunar Shriekers. Yeah, when you get those in your hand and you get the freaking Umbran Salvagers, then it's just like, man, you're locked and loaded and the carnage just starts.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, doing 8 damage, getting additional action, bringing it back to your hand so you have it for next turn, and then maybe just using that additional action for Leeching Scimitar, 2 more damage. You have just so much huge hitting stuff. And it's funny that it all comes from action cards, because usually that kind of stuff comes from combos. So your deck just really recycles the graveyard. That's really awesome. That's really awesome, dude.
Yeah, when I was playing against you, you actually freaking you used that what's it called? That Battleborn Oppressor and got rid of my Crystal Core and got rid of my Leeching Scimitar. And like mid-match, I played what was it? I played the Lunar Shrieker, and I got back one of those, and then I realized that I could play the Chimchul Infiltrator and get the other item card back. But by then, you just swung and hit me for like 55, which like completely obliterated me. Like Astro vomited on everything.
I don't think it was that high, but it definitely was a truckload of damage. Yeah.
Dude, I had to double take when you did that. You hit me for like, I think it was like 23 or something, and I just paused and I'm like, wait, what? Like, what just happened?
Yeah, dude, it was so awesome to just even see your reaction. You're like, wait, what just happened? Like, it's that kind of awesome positivity that you had. Like you were aware that you died, but you were just like, how did I do? What happened? Oh my god! And you were so excited about it. Like, dude, I gotta play that again. I gotta try and beat this. This is awesome.
Dude.
It was so cool. So let's just do a quick run through of your combos here. It looks like so Planetary Alignment obviously is in there for Astral. It's a great 12 damage card. But a lot of them seem like Enlightenment and Title Shift just to draw. Were you really basing this deck off of just getting those salvagers out as soon as possible?
Yeah. So against Mudturtle, I had Enlightenment in hand. He had Mountain Fort on the field, and I played Enlightenment hoping to actually chip away at his Mountain Fort and actually draw me some cards to heal. And coincidentally, I had Skyward Observatory on the field as well. And that was already rotated at like the second rotation or whatever. So when I played Enlightenment, I actually pulled 2 other combos that had Lunar and Solar.
Oh,
man.
So
I ended up like dealing 8 damage, and then I ended up healing for 8, but he had Mountain Fort, so it was still reduced. But it was actually really good, fortunate play for me to chip away at his Mountain Fort and also to heal as well. So I like it a lot because it gives you that +4, like the 3, and then you get the 1 for the combo. And it also gives you a chance to heal and deal damage too, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah, no, that's awesome tech choice. Obviously, like you said, card draw, but being able to get that small chip damage, especially from Mountain Forts, really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the other one, Title Shift. That one, what's funny? I kept seeing that card, and I just kept getting so paranoid. I'm like, oh my gosh, this card. I saw it, and it was like what's it called? It was released for the 3rd set, but because in the app it says like set 1, I just kept getting so paranoid when I was putting in my deck list that for some reason it was going to be a classic combo and I was going to have an illegal deck and then, just deal with that whole mess. So I'm glad it's actually not. But so yeah, Title Shift is just really simple. It's just a 6 healing and draw 2 cards, and I like it just because of the fact that it is that simple healing and it just pays for a lot of the other combos of the deck as well. I can't see. Let me actually enlarge the screen. Is that so? Yeah, it's Solar as well.
Yep.
And Solar is a card that I don't have too much of in the deck. So it has Solar and Lunar, and so I like that as well because it can pay for Planetary Alignment, Gravity Bevel, and stuff. Almost any other combo. Nice. If you notice, all the combos actually have Solar in every single
yes they do.
One of them. And that's because I don't run almost any Solar in the deck. I have like those 2 cards and that's it. So.
That's awesome. I mean, that actually works really well for this deck because a lot of your damage comes from your action cards. So being able to have a lot of combos that can just pay for one another, you're drawing through your whole deck really quick. So the chances that you get 2 combos in hand is pretty easy for you, I'm assuming. So that's actually really cool tech.
And the the gravity bubble was actually extremely helpful against the exile matchup because he ended up using Shroud of Night.
Mm-hmm.
Then he also had Putrid Shaman in there, so he was getting ready to swing for some insane damage. He had Abyss Tentacles, Hoarders in there, and so when I played Gravity Bubble, it rotated all of his stuff, even the combo buff, out to the very last rotation, and then it ended up resetting my what's it called, the Spectral Guide, which allows me to draw 2 when I activate the ability, and then it also reset. I think it was Celestial Warrior that I had on the field, so that was actually really helpful as well.
Oh yeah.
I don't.
For you guys, the Celestial Warrior, the image for some reason is not on the website. It is right here. He does have Celestial.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you do have it. It's just for some reason the image is not uploaded to the site. So, for any of you guys that know, Celestial Warrior is X3, X4. It is a rotating solar buff that just does damage.
So I don't know. That really helped a lot. That combo was the one that I was switching in and out depending on the matchup. I had 2 other combos in the side deck just in case I ran into Magrock.
Sure.
Or a deck that just had a lot of slow dripping buffs and healing. So
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's some really good tech choices. Like you said, you have 2 combos you can side up per matchup, because all your other cards are draw. So if you need to play a different matchup, you have a really solid sideboard. Did Nuan or the Breakfast Boys help you build that, or did you kind of put your own input into it and then went to them and asked how they thought about it?
Part of that, I ended up just kind of putting up on the spot, which is why I feel half of it was kind of useless. I think I was kind of over worrying the Magrock matchup.
Oh, sure. Okay.
I don't remember if they did help me. Forgive me, guys, if I have not credited you correctly. But yeah, I think I came up with most of these choices on my own. If I'm wrong, let me know, guys. But yeah, I think most of those I came up with my own. And half of that I just ended up doing on the spot, like the Battleborn Oppressors, the Starforge Warrior, and the Crystal Leech I added last minute. And the Crystal Leech came in clutch out of everything there.
Oh yeah, I can see that. I mean, if you were even prepped for the Magrock, and the item removal is just really, really crucial right now. I think even Mudturtle had 2 more Mudslingers and maybe even a Battleborn Oppressor in your side deck, didn't you, Mudturtle?
Oh.
Yeah, I just had the Mudslingers.
Yeah. I mean, for Mountain, that's perfect. That's all you need. So that's awesome, dude. That you have a very solid deck. It was fun. You're only running 2 Pathfinders in the main, but you have a third one for for more. I guess.
Sorry.
No, I was gonna say you have more buff. You have a Crystal Leech and a Pathfinder in there for heavier buff removal matchups. So that's awesome that you did go straight aggro to kind of go with that. And then if your matchup went kind of south and you were going against Dread, which is probably your weaker matchup, you put in a lot more buff removal that your opponent probably didn't even expect because you weren't running that much in the main deck. So.
Right, yeah, and I didn't want to clog the deck down with just the main setup, before siding or whatever. I wanted to make sure that I just played it right through and at least just test the waters with the first match. And again, after this experience, my sideboards would be a lot different. If I could change anything about my sideboard, I would have definitely put Crushing Chargers in there. That was probably the biggest thing that I just could not change up about the matches that I had, was that my opponent's hand, they were just able to just draw so much. Exile, even playing against you, dude. That freaking crazy, whatever you did with the drawing 4 cards, then resetting it, drawing another 4 cards, that was just nuts. And I feel like a Crushing Charger would have been really helpful then.
Oh, that would have ruined me, yeah.
Mudturtle put the Colossi Skybeam out, and then just literally, maybe it's just in my head, but I swear he just sat back and just drew 2 and just watched me just lose the whole game. It was just crazy. So I feel like that Crushing Charger would have been able to really at least reset the pace. I would have been able to reset their hand and then just start aggroing really crazy as they're trying to draw further resources. So
sure, no, that's actually great insight to come away from a tournament and just learn how can you improve a deck that obviously, I mean, you did really well at the tournament with this, but you still take this deck and go, okay, there were some mishaps, take it, rework it. You can keep fixing a deck. Nothing is ever 100% set in stone. That's awesome insight that you came away from the tournament not only with second place, but with more knowledge of how to refine your deck. That's awesome, man. That's great to hear.
Thanks, dude. I appreciate it.
Yeah. No. So obviously we talked about both decks. You guys face each other in the finals. For the final matchups, I guess, what was your game plan? Obviously, being able to watch both decks throughout the tournament, see their plays before you guys went head to head. Mudturtle, when you were going against this Blazebeard Zoc deck, what was your kind of essential game plan of how you needed to win this matchup? Was it any different from just let Skybeam sit out there and kind of go through your normal thing, or were you kind of knew that he had the salvagers and you had to watch out for that really big burst damage that could come at almost any time as soon as he equipped his items?
Yeah, I knew he had the salvagers in there, so I knew I needed to keep mountain forts out to kind of negate some of that.
Mm-hmm.
I also knew he ran a lot of items in there, so I knew that the mudslinger and the crushing blow, those would be key. So I saved them for the crystal core.
Yeah. Okay. That's awesome. I mean, so obviously you try to play around item removal the first game. You probably did you? I would guess go through your sideboard choices of the second game because I'm assuming you splashed in the other two mudslingers to get in there for more item removal. What did you kind of change up for the second game, knowing what matchup you were playing?
Yeah, I forget what I took out, but yeah, I added both mudslingers in there.
Okay. Was there anything else that you added, or was it just the two mudslingers?
Nope, that was pretty much the only thing I sideboard the whole tournament. I used the Krebo Potion Master versus Tyro, and then the Font of Misfortune. I think I used against him too because he kept trying to take out his Time Collapse and his Colossi Cannon and stuff. So that one actually came in key.
Sure, no, it's actually really good. I mean, a lot of decks right now, especially anything with Dread, is running Graveyard Recursion. So the Font of Misfortune is a really cool tech choice that I hope you actually got to use a little bit now. It sounds like you did against Tyro. So that's awesome. That's awesome. Testament, when you were going into this matchup, were you able to, at least during like maybe one of your buy games, able to check out Mudturtle's deck and to see a game going on? And then like when you went...
No, dude, I had no idea he was playing that.
Oh, okay.
So like that's why like during the first match, it was so hard because like what I take back from this whole tournament is like now I understand how to study and what to look for when studying what type of style my opponent's playing. Because when I was trying to read what he was doing, he wasn't doing anything. He was just sitting there on Colossi Idol. So like, and I didn't realize that was a hint of I should probably remove that and actually try to just create some type of interaction to see what else comes out of the deck. But because I was just afraid of wasting the Pathfinders, I never removed it, and he just sat on it. So it was actually like I felt really blindsided. I was like, dang it, what do I do? And then once he kept whipping out the mountain forts, I'm like, dang, like I already lost the controller pace of this once I got down below 20.
Mm-hmm.
And he just started hitting me with stuff. I mean, once I'm under 20 and then he hits me for 6 and puts out a mountain breaker, it's like it's a ticking time bomb before I actually frickin'
Yeah, after our matchup, I actually asked him if he had any buff removal because I never saw any.
Oh yeah, I mean, I guess with only 2 Pathfinders, it was probably difficult for you to find any. And from what I understand, that didn't that Colossi or Skybeam just basically sit out almost the entire game?
Yeah, one game he kept playing Umbron Barkeep, Fluximo, bringing it back, and then he'd play it again, and the Skybeam would just negate all that.
Oh man, that's just so cool of how powerful Skybeam is in that deck. So
I think he used Barkeep 4 times in one game.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was like 4. Yeah, and I just kept, and I was looking for like freaking some of my my other actual like some of my buff removal, some of my actual freaking combo cards, like my actual action cards that can actually combo into each other. And it was just like, man, so part of that match, like I was bricking too, and then I was just nervous, like I'm gonna waste his Pathfinder, and he's gonna whip out something that's gonna like just like screw me over or something. Like Shatter Flame or whatever.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. And Mudturtle, I gotta give you mad props. You have probably the best poker face I've ever seen in an opponent that I played in Lightseekers. Because you literally just sit there like your Skybeam and you just it's like, have you played poker? Because you literally have just no tell on your face of what you're doing until you actually like, all right, then I flame bet you and I Lava Tamer, get my Magma Spitter, and I'm just like, I had no idea he had that in his hand. Like, he's not giving me any emotion of, does he have lethal or is he still waiting for something? It was so difficult, like a different mindset playing against you. I highly agree. It was awesome, and I give you applause for that because it's great to know that in a card play that you can have such a great poker face so your opponent can't read anything. But dude, that was a different mind game in itself, along with playing the card game. It was on a whole new level. It was awesome to play against you.
Yeah, when I was playing against Gamma G's Charnokite deck, he saw my hero and he said, "Oh, I'm assuming you're going to use that for Colossi Ritual Site." And then I just said, "We'll see."
Exactly. I think I was actually sitting right next to you for that, and I was just like, "Clearly, you don't watch my stream, do you?" And he's kind of like, "What?" Because I've seen your deck on my stream several times, so the people that do watch me should are pretty aware of what your first play is almost all the time with that deck. So yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. It's like, oh, you're probably gonna look for a Ritual Site, aren't you? And you're just like, Guess we'll see, won't we? And then you slam down a Sky Idol, and he's like, oh man. So that was really cool. That was awesome to hear. So, dude, that's awesome. Getting both your, I guess, sides from the tournament. Now, the final matchup, how close were those games? Because a lot of those games were pretty back and forth from what I kind of remember. I was sitting there talking with Matt, kind of glancing back and forth, watching the games. But during the games, like, were there some really big plays that you just kind of went, oh my god, how do I come back from that? Or like, were you feeling more in control? I guess like, talk through some of your big plays that you saw in the final matchups, guys. I guess Mudturtle, will start with you.
The one versus Testament.
Yeah.
Oh, I was really, not to be cocky or anything, but I was really never worried about anything.
Mudturtle throwing some mud slinging around here, man. No, I'm just kidding.
No. Honestly, though, just to go on that, because I was gonna tell Mudturtle, just be real about it. Like, you don't have to be like cordial or anything. It was legit that, like, when you said he had a poker face, I literally, when I was there, I thought the guy was just bored. Like, I was a child's play. He was just leaning back in his seat, and he looked bored. and his classy Skybeam was just doing all the damage. And I'm like, man, this guy is just like, either I'm entertaining him by just trying to figure out how to do this, or like he just has it in the bag or something. Like, because he literally there really wasn't much going on. Like, the classy Skybeam did so much, and then he just played Mountain Breakers and just coasted right through. And honestly, I don't even really feel like it was much of a match at the end, honestly. I don't know if you can.
I pretty much had a counter to his big moves, his items, his salvager. So I wasn't really too worried about it.
I mean, your deck, you basically came in with Batman and a full utility belt with Kryptonite, and went against a heavy hitting deck like yours. Wow, that was really weird. A heavy hitting deck like yours with salvagers and leeching scimitar and all this stuff to just hit for like 10 damage a turn. And he has Boulder Feast, he has Mountain Force, all this stuff, and obviously the Mudslingers to get rid of your items. It was just like, it was kind of a really, really interesting counterplay that it was almost hard to say like your best matchup. Testament, going into this again, do you have a different game plan now, knowing what his deck does now, being able to see the full list? Do you have a strategy to kind of go against this if you come against the deck again that you would search for, as opposed to trying to not wait out for the ritual site? Or what would you do if you had a rematch against Mudturtle versus the Umbron House?
So for me, I think honestly just removing that classy Skybeam, that thing scarred me, man. That classy Skybeam, just removing that right off the bat, dude, I think would have been a smart idea. Because like Mudturtle said, he honestly got about, I think, like maybe 18 or 20 damage off me, because I kept re-healing with my combos to try to get that draw power too, to get the stuff that I needed. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, that classy Skybeam just kept bringing me back down, and he honestly got like 20 health off of that. And I was just like, but I'm not going to budge. I'm going to wait for that freaking big combo buff or whatever that he's going to play and just save it. And it never ended up coming. And then I ended up like just letting myself slowly sink into the grave.
Yeah. No, I hear it. I think during one of my games, I was lucky enough to Pathfinder at the first turn, and that kind of somewhat helped me balance out the first few turns. But yeah, dude, that Skybeam is strong turn one.
Yeah, and if I honestly think if I would have done that, the match is a little like well versed with each other, but honestly, like, because I didn't remove that, it just felt so lopsided. It was like, dang, like, man, this guy has so much stuff in his hand. He's just sitting there almost with half his deck, and I'm like, yeah, I know this guy got like enough to freaking KO me. So
yeah.
And then go ahead.
I was gonna say, and you even said that a lot of those games you would have Crushing Charger. Going after this tournament with how many times you said you would have probably sided it in. Is that a card that you would almost want to put in your main deck now with how these tournaments have been running?
So in some of the digital decks that I have online, I actually put Crushing Charger in my deck. So I don't even understand why I didn't think about that. I would probably have at least one in the deck, or at least two in the side deck.
Sure.
Especially with some of the stuff that's out there. So I think I'd probably run maybe one or two at least in the side deck for now, for sure. So at least with this deck.
Yeah. I mean, that's the experience that you learn from going to these tournaments, is what you actually see at the tournaments versus just the digital app. I know the app right now is almost clustered with high curator Arwen and just mill and fatigue decks, that you come to a physical tournament and almost none of those are seen, if maybe just one high curator Arwen. So it's really really cool to learn new things just from playing physical to digital, of what almost you need to retech for just going from the app to physical.
Yeah, honestly, that's probably that was one of the toughest transitions for me. Even like during my first match, I was really nervous. I just had the jitters. Like I just almost had like anxiety. I'm like telling the guy in the group, I'm like, yo, like help me calm down. Like I'm like really nervous or whatever. And just play because I take it to heart. I take it serious. I try to have fun, but it's like I'm such a like I try really hard. I put my heart into everything that I do.
Oh,
and
definitely.
so
Dude, you were having a blast, and I was really happy to see that. It's awesome.
Yeah, it was a ton of fun for sure. But yeah, like so just switching over from the digital app to physical, just trying to remember what stuff I needed to actually rotate and trigger and be accountable for. Like it's a lot more to think about than playing on the digital app. And also because I'm not that adept in tournament play in general, like, any card game or TCG, this is like literally my second tournament in TCG ever.
Oh, awesome.
So like that's still something I'm trying to get used to as well, especially the culture too. So
yeah, no, I completely understand. I going to tournaments is a whole new ball game. It's something to definitely try and get to as much as possible. Mudturtle, well, obviously, like we discussed, your deck you've played several times. You've played it on my stream against me. I've fallen victim to it several times. Going from the digital to physical, were there some obviously just for classic form, or were there some changes that you made, just maybe even text choices because of the different matchups that you were probably going to see more at the physical play than you did on digital? I guess what was your mindset to make it so that it would do better at a tournament under a different time limit construction versus playing on the app? Was there a lot of things that you had to rethink about of how the deck would play?
There's not too big of a difference between this deck and physical. I just try to get best quality cards I can in there.
Okay, because I know Mudslinger is probably almost a great solid choice for just a one of in this deck, because there's a lot of items out there. Were you on the app, is Flame Chained Warrior is there a lot of buffs out there that you maybe would have only run one in the app and two in physical, knowing that I guess Dread in its own, with how much Dread is on ladder right now and just how much fatigue, there's not a whole lot of buffs to rotate. Would you have put in a different elemental attack card over Flame Chain Warrior? Is there other things like the Colossi Ritual site you said slows down in the app? Would you have taken that out for maybe just a second Skybeam in case they remove it and you need a better late game? Is there, I guess, try and give me some just extra choices that you would do to change this deck up if you came into like very different matchups of how to make the deck run a little smoother against some of your bad matchups, I guess.
Oh yeah, like Testament, I was worried about Magrocked, so that's why I had the Kribo Potion Masters and the Mudslingers side decked.
Sure.
I was worried that was going to be a tough matchup for me.
Okay. No, I mean I can definitely see that. I also got to ask. Go for it. No, go ahead.
So yeah, basically my whole side deck was for
Magrock.
Besides the
You cut out a little bit. You cut out a little bit. What'd you say?
Oh, I was just saying that my whole side deck was basically for a Magrock matchup, except for the.
If you're using push to talk, hold the button down for like 2 seconds after you're done talking, because it does cut out like the last word. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I was just saying that my whole side deck was for Magrock, except for the Kribo Decoy.
Oh, sure. I mean, that makes complete sense. That Kribo Decoy probably doesn't do a whole lot of its abilities or anything like that. So, like, what was the Kribo Decoy in there for? What was the matchup that was one that was the tech-in choice for?
Just in case I faced like a heavy aggro Tempest.
Sure. No, that makes a lot of sense. The Umbron Marauder. I gotta ask, because with how much, I guess, damage prevention and healing, and you're slowly taking your opponent down, kind of whittling them down. Was Umbron Marauder ever side decked in? Did you ever put that in wanting that extra 6 damage that came from your opponent being at more health than you?
Yeah, when I was facing the Dread Stall matchup and the healing tech deck that Tybo ran, I put that in there. I didn't ever get to use it though.
Oh, sure. I guess that would be a really good matchup if your opponent is just constantly healing to be able to use that extra 6 damage. I guess in that matchup, what would you have taken out for it? Because I mean, a lot of your deck seems like a really well built deck. That's kind of a tight list. What would you have taken out, like a Crystal Bat, or would you have taken out maybe in a Mountain Fort if they're just healing, like it's stuff that you don't need?
Yeah, usually I take out the Mountain Forts. I would have taken out the turrets, but I don't think you're allowed to take items out of your main deck in tournament play.
I know that you can't have them in the sideboard. I'd have to check on that to see if you can take them out in that. But yeah, I mean that makes sense. And with the portable turret, if you're playing mill, that's just it's a dead card because they're never going to drop you below 15. So I completely understand that choice. But dude, that's awesome. It's great getting some insight from you guys. It's amazing being able to talk to you about this tournament, about your deck list, your choices, your deck building, talking to people. Mudturtle, I know you've been talking to almost anyone you can get a hold of. Me, anyone on Discord. You've been very adamant on refining and replaying this deck. Testament, you've been talking with the Breakfast Boys, getting their input. Obviously, you took the core build from Nuwan, made it your own with the Leeching Scimitars and all this other stuff. So it's really cool to see different players just really work on your deck choices and what cards you want to put in to make it more comfortable for your play style, as opposed to taking a deck that was built by someone else and trying to adjust your playstyle to that deck. I think that's awesome, and it shows a really high level of gameplay in your players that you're like, all right, I like this deck, but I want to be able to pilot it the way I want to, so we'll make some adjustments so it feels more comfortable for me. And that's great insight to have from you guys. That's awesome.
Oh, nice. Thanks, dude. Yeah, honestly, I tried playing Nuwan's build, but I just couldn't I just couldn't like grasp the tempo, like, and also just with how much damage I was dealing to myself, like it was just very difficult for me to understand the timing of when to use Nitro Hammer in a way where like I wasn't at a full disadvantage. It was really tough to gauge that. Whereas with Leeching Scimitar, I can use it and I know I'm going to heal, so it's like it's a little easier to kind of preemptively, not have to worry about if I did myself damage a couple turns ago, how I'm paying for that 5 turns later, or whatever.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if like you're not very aware of all the matchups that you could face, that one damage to yourself could potentially put you in lethal range. I mean, like you said, I did 26 damage to you in one turn. You don't know what's coming.
Right, dude, that was pretty crazy. Oh, I still can't get over that crap.
So
what the heck? What the heck happened?
Yeah, man. Playing that Leeching Scimitar for your case, being able to heal as opposed to taking damage, really kind of makes you feel like you were A-okay playing that ability almost any time you were able to. It really helps you put almost at a comfortable ease mindset, as opposed to like, all right, is it worth taking 1 damage, when you're just like, I'm okay with gaining health. Gaining health is always a positive. So
right,
that's really cool.
Was that deck? What was the name of that deck that you played?
That was actually the stripe build from Lifeseeker Bova. It's called his Skyslayer Bow Vandal deck is the name that I gave it. But yeah,
Bow Vandal.
The Bow Vandal, yes.
Cool.
But no, that deck, I had a lot of fun playing that. I played it against it so many times that I felt pretty comfortable playing it. And there were some matchups. I believe there was one. I know I brought you guys on here to talk about your guys, but there was one game that I played against a Thunderfin. Actually, there was a Thunderfin aggro deck there, and it was an awesome build. It was just straight aggro. He ran Electro Hoppers, which for all you guys know, I hate that buff so much. I had to remove it just out of spite in every game I saw it. And there was one of the first matchups, and he didn't know what this deck did because I don't think he played it on the app or anything like that. And he's sitting there just dealing 4 damage, 5 damage a turn, just action draw. And he even commented, he's like, "Are you going to deal damage to me? Like, what's going on?" And then I'm like, "All right, just hold on. The damage is coming." And I ended up hitting him for 33 damage in 1 turn, and he just kind of went like bug-eyed and went, "Wait."
Oh yeah, dude, what? He was talking about that the whole entire tournament.
Yeah, and all I did, I didn't want to, I wanted to say a cheesy line, but I didn't want to seem bad, so all I said was like, "Well, I hit you. Is that okay?" And
man.
And yeah, that was one of my shining moments. It's like, "Well, I finally hit you," and it's just, he was like almost your reaction to it. He's like, "Wait, what just happened? Oh my god, how did that? Right? Oh my word!" So yeah, the second game, he played a lot more methodically. He was using his Thunder Slugs to remove my buffs. He's like, I gotta watch out for dying at almost any health point. So it was really cool getting that reaction out of a lot of people. But no,
man, yeah, it was pretty neat, and he was a really good sport about it too.
Oh, dude, he was an awesome player. I highly recommend. Like, I hope I get to see him at more events. I hope I actually get to travel to more events. Now that I'm moving in April and being able to save some money, so I'm hoping to go out and see a lot more events and catch up with everyone who plays physical as well, because it's awesome. It's a whole new experience. I highly encourage. I will keep saying this. Anyone who has not gone to a physical event, get your cards, go to a physical event, even if it's just a build that you want to test. participate in these tournaments. It's a whole new ball game, and you get to meet a whole bunch of amazingly cool people. And I mean, even if you don't win or you get knocked out of top 4, don't take it as a loss. Take it as a learning encouragement to be like, all right, I did this deck. I played against these at the tournaments. How can I refine this deck? Always come back with something positive so you can keep going and keep learning. And
Absolutely.
It's awesome to see you guys. So yeah, I guess I do you have questions for one another on your decks? Do you guys maybe want to try out each other's decks in the future, just to take a look at these builds, and like, are you excited? Like, yeah, I spend a lot of time building this, but your deck has me very interested. Maybe I'll try and build out on the app and try it out. Is there anything you want to ask one another about each other's decks that maybe you didn't know from before we had this discussion?
I mean, I don't have any questions per se. I definitely would probably, play around with it just so that way I get familiar with it myself and I understand the tempo of the deck from playing it.
Sure.
Besides that, I was just very surprised that he only had one freaking Colossi Skybeam in there, and that was the one card that freaking destroyed me. Like, man, if I would have removed that, like, I wouldn't have had to worry about it, I believe, for like the whole match, right? That was the only one he had in that deck?
He only has one in it, yes.
Yeah, oh my gosh, sheesh.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Mudturtle, any comments that you have for Testament's deck? Anything that you, if you go to play it, just something that you would want to learn from it?
No, not really. I've played it before. Like, I pay attention to all the tournaments and all the decks out there, and I'm just constantly building new decks. So I've actually tried it before, so I kind of knew how it worked.
Oh, nice. Have you had some success with it before? When you tested it, is there any difference that you made from this deck or Nuwan's build that you adjusted it to make it your own?
Well, I'm pretty much a pure aggro player for the most part.
Oh, okay.
So, like, I mess around with those salvagers a lot.
Yeah, they're a fun card. I know I've had a lot of fun in the past building decks around those things. So they're.
I love the fact that those are Umbrans too. Like, yeah.
I think that was one of the things you said is you tried to stick to only Umbron heroes, so Blazebeard Zoc was the perfect one for you. And I got a chuckle out of that. I was like, dude, that is an awesome like thematic to just as a player to be like, I'll make decks, but I'm limiting myself to try and make more interesting and innovative decks.
Yeah, Greshu, it's actually a bit difficult because it's like that there's a lot more competitive stuff out there, and like you take a chance of people looking at you like a noob for even like, for example, I was debating on just running Deathlord Gorax. He has no ability. It's just 33 health and that's it. And some flavor text.
Yep.
For amusement. And but I was debating on running him just because he was one of the only Dread heroes that were Umber, like all Dread, instead of like Magrock or Carnage. He had the death element as well. There were some plays that I wanted to make with him, and I'm just very loyal to the Umbran thing, dude. And that's the channel, man. The Umbran house, like that's what I'm about, man.
Exactly. You gotta,
so I gotta rep.
You gotta stay loyal to yourself. This has been an awesome discussion. I guess now that we've discussed the tournament, we've done the deck list. We're pretty much almost done with the discussion. I will spring this on you just because, guys, we are in reveal season. This is a whole bunch of amazing uprising cards that have been revealed. We're starting to get like 4 or 5 a day now, which is insane. Have you guys gotten a chance to look at some of the new cards? And I guess just give me like your top 1 or 2 cards that you're really looking forward to in this next set. And I'll try and bring them up here on screen so we can take a look at them. But I mean, it could even just be from the ones that were revealed today. Just what cards are you most excited for? And you like as soon as you saw it, you're like, dude, I gotta test that card out. But Mudturtle, what was probably the one card you saw that you're super excited for so far?
I really like that new poison buff. I love Nemi. He's probably my favorite hero in the game. Mm-hmm. I'm just waiting for more poison buffs to come out to make him better.
Sure, the Cabal Sorceress is the one you're talking about?
No, it was the one that came out today. The one where you discard. It's a poison buff.
Oh,
you discard a card, and then it does 3 damage on each corner. I also like that combo that they came out with also.
So let me just roll this over here quick. The Conclave Spy you're talking about.
Nah, the Putrid Behemoth.
Oh, this one.
Oh, yeah,
we've gotten so many fun poison buffs right now. It's hard to keep all track of them, but yeah, this card looks amazing. And you said it was in conjunction with the hero, right?
Yeah, that seems like it'd be a good card to fit into Nemi.
Oh yeah. This one being a poison buff, being able to just swing for 9 with Nemi is insane. I think that's awesome. And dude, I can't wait to test this out. And the fact that it's a beast. The only other beast that Poison had was the Draga. Oh, what? Oh, God. I can't think of the name now. It was the Draga something. Draga Hunter? I want to say.
Hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, the new poison combo card that came out is Tainted Miasma.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah, being able to move 2 discarded poison cards from your discard pile to your hand, like after, as we were discussing in Nemi, and I think a lot of people on Discord were also discussing that. I mean, just splash a Shade Ripper in there, and like maybe even a Necro Dreadling or a Shadow Puppet, just 1 Shadow card, and then after you use a lot of your heavy hitting poison buffs, just put them right back into your hand. That's all you got to do. So yeah, that's awesome. I cannot wait to see what you come up with, Dread. I know you said you were a tech player, falling in love with Mountain. Just now that you're eyeing Dread, I'm like, oh man, what is Mudturtle going to come up with next? It's going to be an awesome build for sure, and I can't wait to see it. Testament, what 1 or 2 cards that you immediately see that you were like, dude, I got to check this out right now?
For me?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I think it was like breaking up or something. So obviously, like they released that Umbran hero today, and I was just totally like just smitten by it because I've been really fascinated with Cursed Grave a lot. It's a buff that's shadow, and it stores 3 discarded cards. Once 3 are stored, it deals 7 damage, and then those are moved back to your deck.
Mm-hmm.
And the new Umbran card that just came out today, the new Umbran hero, it says when any of your beast cards are discarded, draw 1 card. So it's like there's like a little synergy with the discarding actions.
Yeah.
And then also like Putrid Behemoth, like to just discard 1 card as this enters play. They also have what's it called, Battenwood Butcher, which is an Umbran card, and it says this enters play, discard 1 card. So like that discarding factor with Cursed Grave, like those 2 cards I'm really looking forward to. Battenwood Butcher and the Putrid Behemoth, along with that Umbran hero. Like it would just be great to use the synergy in those with Cursed Grave.
Yeah, and I do highly think that Dread right now. I guess we've gotten a lot of tech and a lot of Dread, but Dread's just going in a whole new direction with their discard, and I think that's actually like really intriguing a lot of people to try that new playstyle with this format. And I'm definitely a big fan of the discard aspect in a lot of other card games, so I'm right on board with you guys in trying out these new amazing discard abilities with the heroes. Even just past years, like you said, with Nemi Mudturtle, the new poison cards that we got just fit with the previous year. You don't have to think of an entirely new deck; just fit them in an old deck and make it better. So that's awesome. We're all on the same Dread page, and I don't know if that's just because we got a lot of really interesting Dread cards today, or if it's just because Dread is going in a brand new direction as opposed to the Shadow with the Abyss Tentacles, where everyone knows that that's like the go-to for
right.
Dread. We're finally getting some cool outside of Shadow Dread cards that could make Dread a more viable option outside of just the Shadow package, and that's awesome to see.
Yeah.
That's enticing you guys to want to build something outside of the Abyss Tentacle package. That's awesome to hear, man.
If I may say too, I really like the artwork on a lot of the Dread cards that are coming out. Like I love Battenwood Butcher, and I really love the freaking Putrid Behemoth. Like that foiled out is gonna look pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, the Putrid Behemoth foil. I cannot wait to see that. That's gonna be an awesome looking card with all that green and purple in it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to see and just sorry, last it's really random, but there's that one card that has what's it called? Those monks, not monks. Monks. What am I saying? The Kreebles, and they are traveling with the map like upside down.
Oh, the Awestruck Tourists.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I want that so bad. Like foiled. That card's freaking awesome.
That card, yeah.
Not that it's just a really cool art card. I love that.
No, definitely. I mean, a lot of these card arts, I think they're actually like, I don't know if they got new artists or if they've just like, we'll pay a little extra, take some more time on the art. But the art definitely in this set has been majorly improved over the years. And it really shows how much this game has been invested in and improved upon just from the artwork alone, and the new concepts and new things that the game is getting as a whole, the new mechanics. Is awesome to see that this game is not dead for all you naysayers out there. We have had a major lull, I understand that, but this game is coming back full swing, so don't you go anywhere because we're going to have a lot of fun when Uprising comes out.
Heck yeah.
Well, awesome, guys. I think that's really it. I know I said I wasn't going to talk to 2 hours, but we had a great discussion, and I don't think there's really any more questions that I have. Is there any questions you have for me before we go ahead and promote where we can find you guys and promote the Umbran House YouTube channel? Is there anything you guys wanted to ask me that you have me here?
Not that I could think of. What cards are you looking forward to?
What cards? Oh man, so many. If I had to say, I am definitely more of a mid-game to late-game player. I'm much more of a control player. And the card that has me enticed is this Cage of Oppression that we got yesterday. This card...
Oh, yeah!
This card alone, it can't be removed or restarted. it just consistently
The
one
art.
damage that bypasses all damage reduction. Just to me is like it's essentially like kind of how Mudturtle was with the Colossi Skybeam. Put that out first turn. If you get this out first turn, your opponent's like, oh my god, I'm on a clock of however much my health point is for like 1 damage a turn that I can't even put a bubble fish in front of. I got to try and just heal out of it. And it's like, if I just need damage, I put that out there. You can't remove it. You can't restart it. You literally, the only way to try and get rid of it is to either return it to my hand with some of the tech cards that they have, or literally just you need to apply pressure to me so I heal myself. That's how I remove it. And it doesn't have burn, so I could easily
Unless
bring
you
it back from
thorn
the graveyard.
it
Yeah,
too.
yeah, exactly. So like, this card really helps push that mid-range to late game. It's my play style that I like. Mudturtle said he's major aggro. You played mill and control, so you're definitely more of a late game player, getting used to the aggro that you played with the Blaze Brute Zoc. But Cage of Oppression
Right.
gives me that revitalized hope that Tempest aggro and the Zuna aggro and all this aggro stuff will still have its own spot, but mid-range, the kind of like the weaker of the formats, is getting cards to make it come to the surface and be much more of a threat and a prominence in this meta that we have not seen a whole lot of. So that's definitely the card that I want
Yeah.
to play with a lot. And the fact that it's unaligned means that it can go in any deck that I want.
Right, and that's pretty sweet. And I love the artwork on that one too. It's freaking awesome.
Oh yeah, it's so cool. It's like a makeshift bear trap with a voodoo doll in it. It's so great.
Yep.
Well, awesome guys. Thank you very much for stopping. Mudturtle, if people wanted to get a hold of you or talk shop with you, where can they find you? Obviously on Discord here, but where's a good place to get a hold of you?
Yeah, pretty much Discord or your stream.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, you are an avid viewer of my stream, and I'm always happy to have you here, my Thunderfin Army, man. Thank you very much for always tuning in and being an awesome supporter. But awesome. So if you want to get a hold of him at Discord, Testament, I'm going to give you the floor because you have a lot of stuff to promote. So I'm going to let you talk, and I definitely want people to definitely go check out the Unbound House on YouTube. It's an amazing channel. If you want to post a link to the YouTube channel in the chat right now, go for it, because I want everyone to go over there and follow him on, subscribe to him on YouTube. It's an awesome channel. You will not be disappointed with his videos. So is there any news you want to say?
Oh man,
about
I
your stuff?
actually I don't have the link ready. Dang it.
You talk, I will find your link, dude. Don't worry.
Oh, sure. Okay. Yeah, guys. So, this Testament, I do run the Umbran House channel. And this week, it's kind of like Umbran week for the channel. Starting tomorrow, I will be uploading like an Umbran deck profile. I'll be uploading the Blaze Brute Zoc with a more in-depth actual explanation of every card, its utility, the plays, and I'll have a demo of the actual deck playing as well for tomorrow. And then on Friday, I'll be releasing a video that has like a special little animation stuff that I was working on, and it has a lore chat with Alan, the lore creator, and it's about the Umbrans and Magrock and General Carnage. And hopefully, if I do get some of those cards to be revealed, I'm hoping that they send me like an Umbran card, and I'll be able to reveal a number card at the end of that. And then I have a Magrock deck profile that's going up this Saturday, and then the General Carnage Testament Tournament Blues mill deck will be going up on Sunday. So it'll be just an all-out, like, just Umbran themed content that I'll be releasing on the channel this week.
That is awesome, dude. That is amazing. I know I will definitely be looking forward to watching all those videos. You put out some amazing content. Very informative, very fun. It's never a dull moment with you. So I highly encourage everyone to go check out his YouTube channel. He puts out some amazing stuff. If people wanted to get a hold of you to talk shop, talk more, I guess, lore, because you love talking about the lore almost as much as anyone here. Where's a good place to get a hold of you to reach out to you if you want them to?
I actually muted the Discord, so it's like I almost never know when something's going on. Like, people message me on Facebook. That's like the best way to actually get a hold of me. My name's Joshua Torres on Facebook. So I would definitely say that's probably the best way to get a hold of me. Is through Facebook, if anything, just because I'm always at work and my phone going off with the Discord doesn't really do too good in front of customers or my boss. So
no, yeah, I can completely understand that. And you're in the Lightseekers Facebook group, so people can easily find you there as well. So
yeah, that too. Yep, absolutely.
Perfect. Well, once again, thank you guys for coming on, for both of you being able to be available today. I know, Josh, you had to work around a lot of your work schedule and some other stuff, so I very much appreciate that you were able to take time out of your day and discuss this with us. Mudturtle had the day off, so it was a little easier for him, but I'm always happy to have you guys on. I just keep doing well in tournaments. I will definitely try and have more people on if you guys win again. You're always welcome back. Even if you don't win, talk lore, talk cards. I'm more than happy to have you guys. You were been amazing to discuss this game with, and I'm really happy to have you on the show today.
Sweet. Thank you so much, man.
No problem.
Yeah, no, yep. Thanks for having me on.
No problem, guys. Thank you very much.
Alrighty, take care.
Yeah, you too. Well, guys, that was amazing discussion. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. I still have like 2.5 hours of my stream left, so don't go anywhere. It was awesome to learn the insight of, like I said, everyone's always talking about the gold tier tournaments. Everyone's like, yeah, gold tier, it's where like 15, 20 people show up. They have these really high decks. It's where the competition really lives. But these silver tier tournaments, they are no joke. They bring out the best competition that I've seen also. There's never a dull moment. We have some amazing, unique decks. We had 9 people play. Each deck was unique. Each deck had a different hero. There was something different going around. So that's awesome to see that the meta is changing so drastically with every day. Obviously, some were taken from gold tier tournament decks. I know I brought the Sky Slayer one, which won the previous gold tier one. The Testament brought a modified Blaze Brute Zoc, which won the very first gold tier tournament. There has been a lot of Dread decks obviously showing up. Mudturtle with a brand new concoction that he's been working on, won the whole thing with it. So I never think that a tournament winning deck is, you bring that deck, it's like, yeah, it's really going to go there. You will come out of left field with something like Mudturtle did that he's been working on since day one, never gave up on it, really shows the dedication that he put into this thing. It is awesome, dude. This is amazing, and I'm really happy to see this. If you want to try out my deck, Chris, you go ahead. But this was my 3rd silver tier tournament. All have gone great competition. That is awesome to hear, Mudturtle. That is amazing to hear. Yeah, I might try out these decks, build them in the stream. I might do that later today. I know there was something else that I had in mind. I love the fact that you guys are here. I know I've been missing chat. Freshton, when you come back and watch this video, because I know you do, because you leave me comments, thank you very much for stopping by. I did not miss you, man. I did not miss you. I saw you. I just in a discussion, didn't want to have to take a break. I got hosted and roasted by, if I can open this up, I got hosted by Sergeant Terror, and he followed me, and he gave me 9 bits. Brig Briz gave me 9 bits. Sergeant Terror hosted me and followed me. Thank you very much, and welcome to my Stormcloud, man. Thank you very much. Brig Briz with the 9 bits. Thank you for the donation. Thank you, everyone who showed up and just made this stream what it is. It was an amazing discussion with 2 very high-level, awesome Lightseekers players that never gave up in the physical card game, built some amazing... sorry, not many bits. Need to watch more. Dude, Brig Briz, I don't care if you donate 1 bit, man. Every little bit counts. I used the word bit intentionally there. So thank you guys very much. We will still be doing a whole lot of gaming today. I'm going to take a short break, get a water bottle. We did have a lot of discussion. I know I talk a lot in general, but my mouth gets dry. I didn't bring a water bottle with me because I had to rush from work to get here to make sure to bring out this content. So thank you guys very much. Give me a second. I will say this. Today, because I didn't have a whole show planned and whatnot, Mudturtle, I think I'm going to showcase your deck and Blaze Brute Zoc at the end of the show. But because I am very much a story and a campaign man, and this week I did want to showcase the Warhammer side as well. So I know that we just had a big discussion on Lightseekers, but Warhammer is another game that I'm trying to add to my schedule. It's a very fun game. It's the other game that Play Fusion promotes. I'm trying to promote both, trying to bridge the gap between both worlds, Warhammer and Lightseekers. And they did put out their 3rd campaign for the new Savagery set that they're coming out with. So... if you guys haven't gotten a chance, I highly recommend downloading Warhammer. It's a free-to-download game. It's on Steam as well. The game is amazingly fun, and right now they have 3 campaigns with all pre-built decks, so you don't even have to have a single card to play these games because they're trying to promote Savagery, so you get to play with some of the new cards with the campaigns. I did the last 2 campaigns on Monday. Had a blast with them. I hope you guys get to check out that video. They put a new one out today. I'm going to go play that as soon as I come back from the break. Check and see what they have in store for that one as well. But I highly recommend, if you guys are a fan of Lightseekers, give Warhammer a shot. Now's the best time to do it because obviously the Savagery hype train is in. Any of you guys that came over here, I know I saw Archon. Archon joined for a little bit near the beginning. He's one of the top UK players of Warhammer. If you haven't given Lightseekers a chance, dude, now's the time. Uprising's coming out. Now's the time to get into it. Both sets, they're on the rise. We're getting all these new card reveals. The game is changing drastically. Both of them. It's a great time to be a Play Fusion card player. I am so happy where I am right now. I'm so happy to be bringing both these games to as I am. So as I go on my break, I will load up Warhammer, and we will play the new campaign. And after the campaign is done, we're going to jump back to Lightseekers. We're going to play some Howlock the Founder. We're going to play some Blaze Brute Zoc. We're going to showcase those 2 decks. So don't go anywhere. We're still going to have some fun today. It's going to be a blast. And I will see you guys in like a minute or two. Stay tuned, guys.